Okay, this is part 8 of my series titled down below. I have lost many pairs of sunglasses in this army, like many pairs, and I've lost my last pair that I had, and I'm not allowed to go live without covering my eyes. Covering my eyes is so that I listen better. So I was given the option to create some sort of eye shield so that the live can continue. So this is where I'm at with it. So here we go. I hope that that's not too distracting. I am going through a transition now, and it's not easy, but it involves me moving out of old modes of working that I'm hanging on to desperately. I am still so stuck in the charity matrix, and I don't know what doing legit business here looks like. Charity is a form of insobriety for me because it comes an ends justify the means type of trap that I just can't get out of. So, because I have to do this, like I'm transitioning now into working more on my business. I have a few things in place that force me to be way more about my business and less relying on kind of like this other way that I've been operating for a while now, for many years. It's a very emotional process for me and something that I'm really stuck on because I'm stuck on and working in the charity matrix. And because I represent a cult, I don't know how to represent that cult. So I don't. And I just work on making sure that I can do what I don't know. I work on hitting my goals basically, but I don't work on it and do it in my integrity or the way that I need to do it. The most important thing here isn't actually what you do, it's how you do it. So my how has been messed up from this jump. And now 6 years in, I'm having to adjust my how because it's really messed up. Wanting and needing everyone to like me is a part of this series. It's a part of this probably because I avoid hard things or conversations, like telling people, hey, I'm in a cult. This is what I'm doing. I'm representing this cult. You should do this thing, or send some laundry into the laundress. You should try buying your soul back. I feel like doing that just pushes people away or is going to push people away. So I don't take that risk very much unless it's just like me trying to get those risks out of the way. I don't want to be stuck in this cycle anymore. I have a lot of genuine shame about my life and what I'm doing with my life. The fact that I'm in a cult, the fact that I haven't been successful here, that I've consistently failed over and over in trying to do this new venture in a new matrix. I've consistently failed at it, and I have a lot of shame about my consistent failure and my consistent not getting, even in times where I've gotten close to success, just messing it up and not being able to pull the trigger or bring home the gold, which I have not been able to do. I have a lot of shame around that. Shame is kind of where I live right now. I feel like when I'm supposed to be testifying to other people about this, that this is my own fantasy based on my own shame, so that my shames outweigh anything that I could have figured out here, and that the fact that I've been so unsuccessful is not like, and I don't know. I did manage to get sober and have a lot of growth, but I feel like I started out as such a piece of shit that, like, to represent myself now after 6 years of kind of like, removing a layer of shit, it still doesn't show very much. And as a 32-year-old adult, I have a lot of shame about how far from the place where a 32-year-old adult should be that I still am. And that makes it hard to, like, try to get other people to do this because I have so much shame about me doing it. And I have a belief that everyone who joins a cult is a loser, and everyone who doesn't join a cult is just winning at life and succeeding and happy and free. And that's my shame and mistaken belief. So I always compare myself to successful people in the pain matrix, or even like moderately successful. I don't have that high of a bar. And then I compare myself to where I'm at, and that just deepens the shame, I think. And then I just have a bunch of shame about the thing, and I don't know how to take that forward into where I'm going. And it's a mistaken belief because I know everyone that isn't near this thing is not doing as well as maybe the PR is telling. I mean, the PR is not even that great anymore about that people are doing super well out there. Doesn't seem to be the case. But still, it's like I'm wearing rose-colored glasses. That expression doesn't make any sense. It's like I am choosing to believe that, like, things are so much better than they actually are, and not taking delivery of what my reality is, or what reality is showing me. It makes it almost impossible for me to feel like I can represent something in the way that it deserves to be represented, because of how much I've failed at actually doing the thing. It's not that the thing doesn't work, it's just I've consistently failed at it. And they say shame, which is a very big part of my experience right now. Energetically, shame is like the lowest on the energetic list. It's like right next to death. And I am just, trying to get out of that part to get to some real contentment, to where I can accurately and with I can accurately represent the thing that I'm doing without being clouded by my own feelings about my insufficiencies and failures. I joined a cult to, like, go on an adventure and have an adventurous life, and a life that was, different from what I felt to be a really mundane existence that I was experiencing in the pain matrix. And I think I used up all my adventure points, and through constantly failing to the point where, like, things had to be put on, like, a very regimented system. The parts of being an army really came out because of my failure to deal with the freedom of, like, making a bunch of crazy decisions that I did before that led to bad things. I kind of put myself in a position right now where things are very structured. There was an unstructured time in the pleasure matrix, and that time has passed. For my, or not in the there's an unstructured time in Day Life Army, and that was part of the prototype. And I failed to make it through that way and prove that I could handle that. So things have just gotten more. I've just made it so like I'm working all the time, and now I've created my my reward center, my reward systems with me in myself to be around how much money I can get to then wash for the organization. And because I've created those, it's just like that's just me repeating my kind of junky experience and transmuting that. And I have not figured out a way to do that about army wins, like wins for the Day Life Army. Or I've created in my belief system that I've created for myself that I can't do that, or I can't transmute that same drive that I have, which I've always been a driven person. It's just like I usually am driven towards the wrong things and the wrong behavior, but I do have drive. So instead of transmuting that drive and making it about something that would ultimately help the creation of the army the foundation, running of a smooth operation at this army and the expansion of the pleasure matrix, I put all of those junky things, desires, or junky drive into just like a machine of kind of like a machine that just like doesn't really go anywhere, but I've become addicted to it, and I like don't feel like I can get off the machine or like whatever the thing is until I can replace it. And I'm so bad at replacing things without just like literally going all or nothing. And that's one of my rackets, is like making really brash kind of all or nothing choices instead of using a middle ground. Thus far, I have not been able to figure out how to use a middle ground that can get me out of this. And I feel like because of that, what I've done is I've just created like this, like very me just doing all my work, not taking risks in my day, not just trying to get the work part of it done, not like doing anything to expand the pleasure matrix or like work on the cult or like be like a army soldier and do soldier work. I've just made it all about hitting a very specific metric that I barely hit anyway, but like trying to hit that metric. And then I just like get all my adventure out of reading and just reading books and just separating those two things. Instead of living a life of adventure, I just read adventure and then like kind of crunch away. And I've done that to myself. That's something I made. I made my experience of this into that way because I don't know, it's like a shame spiral that I'm just still going on about my failures. And that's my fault. And it's all kind of like narcissistic, like, oh, I'm the center of the universe behavior. It's not actually, it doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help me, but it's something that I'm doing. So I'm going to go through some of my shames and mistaken beliefs. And then comment on the hold that they still have on my life. So I will go through my mistaken beliefs first. And then I will go through my shames. Because shames are like, there's sometimes some truth in them, I guess. Or their shames are like things that are or aren't true, or some things that you still haven't worked out. Mistaken beliefs is something that's like not true, I guess. So my mistaken belief is that I am a bad person, that no one wants to do legitimate business with me, that my brain damage makes me worthless, that I'm wasting my life, that I'm a scammer, and that I can't live like a life of comfort or luxury. So those are all my mistaken beliefs. I've kind of learned some things about myself through these mistaken beliefs. I didn't even know about the brain damage part of this until basically it was information that through washing I was able to get through this organization. My insistence of like being so insecure about what I'm doing that I feel like I have to, like, I'm like, I'll just be, I'll be illegitimate in order to get to where I need to go, is kind of like the mistaken belief that I'm a scammer. And then being a bad person is just some narcissistic shit where it's just, self degradation. Obviously not. I mean, I can always be striving to be a better person, that's for sure. No one wants to do business with me. I mean, I'll just go through the pronoid versions of these. No one wants to do business with me is actually like everyone wants to do business with me, and I actually don't want to do business with them is actually the problem. And once I get out of that for myself, then everyone will want to do business with me, and I'll want to do business with them, and we'll do business. My brain damage makes me worthless. Well, the pronoid thing is at least I know what's wrong now. Part of what's wrong, and I can figure things out without like wondering what the fuck is going on with me. The note about I'm wasting my life. Well, I didn't actually know what a life was before I came here, and I was just a drug addict and suicidal. So if I'm here feeling like I'm wasting my life, at least I'm getting to the point of like figuring out what my life is not a waste, what kind of life isn't a waste, because I had no idea what kind of life wasn't a waste, because I was actually clearly really actually wasting my life before I even got here. The fact that I am a scammer is like that, I hold myself, it's just me understanding that I need to do business in a better way, and that, that feeling is there to push me in that way, and that I can't live a comfy luxe life is that, I just haven't yet, and it's based on my choices and where I am, and that those things could be right around the corner, but they just, I've been pushing them away with my failure and behaviors. And the shames that I have is that I ruined my name and reputation. I mean, I am very ashamed of that, but it also like, I don't know. I have this like fantasy of just like changing my name and running away to another country and like leaving everything behind and just being like starting over completely like they do in books or movies. Doesn't really actually work like that in life, but like that's where my shame takes me, to those thoughts and feelings. But that's not actually true, because that you can't actually ever really, there's always actions that you can take and that can take you in the other direction. So nothing is ruined forever. I have shame about being brain damaged, that from my own previous drug use. I guess the shame for that, the pronoid thing, is that at least I know and I can do something about it, and that I don't believe that brain damage is permanent, or that it's even like maybe I'm through the worst of it. Because I've been sober for 6 years, so my brain has had a lot of time to rebuild, and now maybe it's just an emotional block that's getting me through to getting to the next thing, not like actually a physical deficiency. I have shames about not having a business yet, which, I can just turn into fuel to be ambitious about having a business. I haven't built enough in 6 years. I built very, very little in 6 years. I feel very ashamed about that. But I'm still not doing anything to build anything. So it's like I should feel shame. It's like, what's the point of feeling shame if I'm not going to do anything? Might as well just either do something or just get over the shame. And I'm trying to just do something and get over the shame. I have shame that I'm not at full mental capacity. That's kind of the brain damage one. And I am ashamed that I push people away and that, everyone that I've brought over to this thing has left, and I have, contributed to other members in this army leaving through my actions and my failures. So I have shame about that, and that's real. I mean, that really happened, but maybe that's just what I had to do to create whatever comes next for myself. And whether they weren't going to make it anyway or they were collateral damage, I really hope that they weren't, and that, I just hope it's a lesson, and maybe they'll come back, or whatever, or maybe there will be just such an influx of people because I get over that shame that it won't matter, and that, everything can move forward. So this has been let's see if I think that's everything. This has been part 8 of this series. Daylife Army is always not let me just wallow in my shit. And I've always been given information and things to do and just encouragement or, and I've used most of those things I've squandered that I've been given, but this army has always never given up on me. And that's my own choice to not use that and actually do something with it. So that's just on me. But this has been part 8. So you can watch the rest of the series, and I'll see you next time.